Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic hits.
I'm in my early 30s. I've decided I never want kids. Literally every single female who I've confided in about this, from my family members to friends and work colleagues, have been incredibly judgmental and told me I'll be missing out and will eventually regret it and could potentially spend the latter years of my life lonely if my partner dies before me. My own mother said she is devastated that I will not be giving her any grandchildren as I'm an only child. She actually thinks I'm being selfish and said that I don't want to give up my party lifestyle. Am I being unreasonable to find these opinions very irritating? I don't listen or list all the reasons to them why I think their way of life is less appealing to mine. So I don't see why I have to sit back and basically be told I'm some sort of freak for not wanting kids. Maybe I just know some very judgmental people. Now, I don't know if you think of that message. Do you think there's something wrong or strange about somebody not wanting children? Or do you think it's wrong to judge anyone's opinions? Like if I said to everybody listening tonight, and most of us have children, statistically, do you regret having children? Now, that's a horrible thing to say. And of course, you're going to go, of course not, I love my children. But if you could go back in time and you didn't know you had children, and you could make the choice again to have children, would you do it? And if people were being honest, and there was this research, I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I heard it online, and there was research out that said something like 40% of people said they wouldn't have children again if they knew what they knew now, if they didn't already know their kids. That's like, it's a bit of a mind mess to say that, but you know what I mean. Of course you don't regret having your kids because you love them to bits. Not all of the time, most of the time. But if you could go back in time and meet your younger self, and your younger self knew nothing about your children, and you give yourself a bit of advice, would you say, listen, don't have kids, enjoy your life. You know what I mean? Go on holidays, have fun. Would you do that? Choosing not to have children is becoming more and more common, by the way, with young people in Ireland today. However, there is still a stigma attached to people believing that having children is an important step in life. Now, I'm obviously not talking about, those who struggle to conceive, because it's a very difficult situation for people. I'm talking about people who simply choose not to have children. And not so long ago, as I said, Pope Francis came out to say that being childless and ultimately being married couples nothing but bitterness and loneliness. And he went on to say that four-legged friends don't offer the same opportunities of love and godliness as raising a child. And he said that childless couples should be fruitful and multiply and not spend time raising pets when they could be raising children. Now, back to the Mumsnet dilemma. The woman's mother believes she's being selfish. Is she being selfish? What do you think? Is it selfish not to have children? Fern, you're in Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How you doing, Fern?
Hey, Niall. How are you?
I'm good, Fern. Is it selfish, Fern? Now, I'm not talking about people who can't conceive, because that's a different situation, of course.
I don't think so. Now, I just want to tell you, Niall, the line is a little bit funny, so I'm having kind of difficulty hearing you just a tiny little
speak
bit.
louder for you, Fern.
Sorry?
I said I shall speak a little bit louder for you, if you like.
I don't know if that's the issue. It just sounds very staticky.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I don't think it's selfish at all. Why would it be for a woman to choose not to have children? I've got I know a few friends who have chosen not to have children in their life, and they're perfectly happy. And apparently there's a rise in women choosing not to have children nowadays because it's just a better life for them. They've chosen to, and they're happier.
Are more and more people looking for that lifestyle of being young, free and single and not having children because children put an anchor around your neck and bog you down?
I don't think it's to be young, free and single, so to speak. But
well, you know what I mean. Feeling like you're young, free and single.
Well, just have so you can have choices. Do you know what I mean? Like your savings are your savings. You don't have as many difficulties. Now, this is coming from someone who actually I have kids. Yeah. So I'm on that side of life myself. But
so would you rather you didn't hear can I have, can I want, can I have, I want this, I want? Would you rather you didn't hear that every day?
I'll put it this way, Niall. I have a teenager.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Okay. Isn't that a lovely... Is it a boy or a girl?
A girl.
Oh, you're done. That's worse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the best thing is she's got my sass and my husband's stubbornness. So,
see, the advantages of a boy is generally, you can let them loose. They're a bit more independent, right? Girls need a bit more looking after, but girls are more expensive than boys. There's no doubt about it.
Unless guess the boys have a thing for shoes. My nephew is a teenager, loves his particularly expensive shoes.
Nike Air Max and
gadgets.
all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, all them kind of things, and then like the gadgets, VR systems, and all that kind of stuff. And whereas I'd much rather false lashes and nails, to be honest. With you.
Yeah. And dresses and leggings.
But then boys, I find when they're teenagers, judging from my nephews, they just turn into little cavemen. They grunt at you instead of talking to you for a couple of years and that kind of a thing.
For a couple of years. Yeah. They go into the room and they eat in their room. They sleep in their room. They fart in their room. Everything. You just daren't even go into their room.
Basically.
Yeah.
Whereas girls, you'd be afraid to go into the room because you get the head bitten off you.
Yeah, but now girls are equally as messy as boys.
Oh, yeah. Well, depending on the girl. But
okay.
Now my little one could use a few more home training tips, that's for certain. But we'll get there.
Here's a question. Now, I want you to be
Yeah.
honest, Farron, okay? And this is of no disrespect to your children, right? And I know you love your children to bits, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even though some days you'd like to disown them. But in saying that, you love them to bits. But if you could go back and tell your little self, your little young Farron, okay, about having children. And, of course, little Fern didn't know that the children, so she would have never loved them. Would you say to little Fern, don't have kids?
Would I say, like my father said, and keep a 10-pence piece between your knees at all times? Well, I had my first child when I was very young. I had it when I was just turned 20.
Okay, that's not too young.
No, that's right. I know. I've got family members who've had kids younger than that. But if I would give myself any advice, it would be to wait until I was a little bit older. Because at the end of the day, it did feel like a child raising a child. I mean, your brain isn't fully developed until you reach 28 anyway. So it was made things a little bit more difficult. So I would
most people do wait now. The average age to have a first child now, I think, is 32 now.
Yeah, which I find is quite difficult because it's still classed as for a woman to be pregnant after the age of 35 is considered a geriatric pregnancy.
So I believe, yes. So I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit that's a bit
harsh.
Of a thing to it.
Geriatric has always struck me as being over 65 or something, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Now, obviously, there are risks to come to it, but it's just that if I knew then what I knew now, I would have done things differently. But then I wouldn't know what I know now if I didn't have the kids.
Right.
Because if you don't do it, you don't know it.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I have 3 kids, love them to bits. But in saying that, your life was so much different without kids, isn't it?
But that's just it. That's like for my friend now who has no children, who I absolutely adore. She's a wonderful person.
Are you jealous of her?
Highly. The way I describe it, there's a point where financially I would say there is that hint of envy that comes in.
Yeah, of course.
This year particularly has been very difficult for us.
But a child is going to cost you 10 grand a year, roughly.
Minimal, because as well as that, like she was, or another friend of mine who's a man, childless, which then there's no spinster terminology used when it's a man. It's a bachelor. I find that's a bit of a stigma, and that's a whole other conversation there now. Like.
Bachelor's a nicer word than spinster. Spinster sounds old and decrepit. Yeah, but go on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was having a conversation with him, and he was wanting to buy a new gadget for himself. And it was something like, he said, it's about 300. I have that. Sure, I can spend that amount on myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, blinking heck, just to treat yourself for 300 quid?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To me, that blew my mind. And and he was saying, but now look, what
when you've got kids, if you've got 300 quid spare, you got to think of the kids and say, well, they need any? They come first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and he was saying, but look, why didn't you just do this? And I had problems with my car, and he said, now the trick is you've got to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to make sure you do this. And I said, you realise it cost me over 600 to get my 2 kids into school in September. And you realise that my youngest daughter had a severe problem with her teeth this year, last year, beg your pardon, and it cost me the bones of 1,500 to get that fixed.
Yeah. By the way, can I? That's a whole other topic that we should spend an hour on someday. There should be no charge for children in a dentist. None.
No, I agree. I agree completely.
For braces or whatever needs to be done, there should be no charge whatsoever.
They shouldn't.
Up to at least 18. At least 18. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's the way it is on the NHS. Now, I know they have their own problems. But so, and it's not like you can get financial aid or anything like that. When, like, I work 2 jobs. My husband works to his bone. Like, he worked 10 days straight just 2 weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? We work absolutely as hard as we can. It's not like we're claiming everything, but it's not like you can get any extra help in that regard when it comes to dental work or things like that. That doesn't count on a medical card or well, on a, you know what I mean? You can't get the proper
Should they
help you
reduce
need.
that? They even reduced it a while ago. Do you remember you used to be able to get 2 checkups a year? It's now only 1, I think. If you can even get, I think it's 1 every 2 years now. Actually, I think they've reduced it again.
Exactly. So I explained this to him, and he was like, "Well, you know, I could spend that." I'm like, "Do you realise how blessed you are that you could do that?" Yes, I made my choices to have my children.
Would you not? By the way, Fern, seems you're a citizen of Great Britain. Can you not just, get on a plane and go over to Wales and get her teeth done over there?
Aye, but then that's the other element of it, isn't it? It's just trying to make sure that I got all the kids' papers in order. Got to make sure, and the flights and the accommodation and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
And then as well as that, let's face it, do you really think they're just going to hop on the plane, go over, get their teeth fixed and come straight back?
Yeah, okay.
They're going to want to have a holiday out of the situation.
Let's go visit all your relations and spend a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll stay there for a second. Hang on. Bernie.
Yeah.
Hi.
I haven't gone into a coma just yet. How are you?
Is that an insult to Fern?
No, I was just here. You know me, I'm never usually on this late. I'm usually, in sleep in a coma by 10.
All right, okay. I thought you might have been insulting Fern there, telling us that
I
her
was
story was
fascinated
boring
by it.
because it
I was
wasn't.
listening
I
to
thought it
it,
was
yeah.
exciting, actually.
No,
in fairness.
Fern, I wasn't insulted you. I was talking myself.
No, not at all, girl.
So, is it wrong to judge people, Bernie, who don't have children? I mean, because this granny
No.
is basically saying you're selfish. The Pope even said you're selfish.
No, absolutely not. It's your right. If you don't want to have them, that's fine.
Well, it is your right,
But not,
of course, yeah. But
yeah, it is your
morally.
right. If you don't, you're not obliged to have children. I mean, I had my 3 lovely grandsons here for the last 5 weeks living with me, and if I didn't go insane then, I'm happy. Like, I got through it, and you do. Like, you make the decision to have them. You love your children, and then you have grandchildren. To me, that was the life choice I made.
Was it the right choice? And by the way, that's a horrible question to ask you because you love your grandkids and you love your children.
Absolutely, yeah.
But was it the right choice?
Well, I mean, to be honest, at the time I was having them in the 80s, it was the right choice because there wasn't any other choice. You were never offered it. It wasn't in sync. There was very few people not having children back in that day.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of done thing, wasn't it? Yeah, if you're a woman, you had children. That was the
you
end
got
of
married and you had children, and that was it. And if anyone didn't have a child for some reason or not, it was never discussed.
There's huge
It's
pressure
more
on
open
women,
now.
isn't there? There's huge pressure.
Yeah.
Because as soon as women get married, and I think it's still a thing, and I'm sure both of you experienced it, you would have the mother-in-law going, "So, anything stirring yet? Anything
I'm
God
going to
good
be
to you?"
Granny.
Yeah. Is God good? Was God good to you yet?
Yeah, like I mean, it's terrible. I mean, I do it to my son and his wife sometimes. I think, I'm pushing on here. Is there any chance for a child? And
You
it's
do
so
not.
wrong.
Bernie, you're not one of them. You're not one of them mother-in-laws, are you?
No, I'm not. But it's just sometimes she just makes me want to say something because he's 40 and I'm thinking he'll be an old man.
Maybe they're
or
trying.
something.
I don't want you to start thinking about
I
that.
know,
But maybe they're
this is it, and
trying.
I mean, I obviously wouldn't ask him. Your son is not going to tell you. But I mean,
But he's not going to talk about his sex life, do you know? No, not his
no,
mother.
he's not. I mean,
No.
I mean, honestly, but I just feel, and I only do this for slagging, but oh my God, I think about myself afterwards. I have to pull myself in and go, you're a disgrace, right?
So,
She said, Bertie, I said, have triplets now. I said, so you can push them all out together.
well, let me ask you the
wouldn't
same
go
question I
again.
asked Fern then. Let me ask the same question I asked Fern. If you could go back and
Okay.
tell little Bernie just before she became a nurse. So little Bernie is there, 19 years of age, knows nothing about kids. She's never had them. And not knowing that you had these kids, because little Bernie wouldn't be in love with these kids that she has now because she's never had them. Would you advise her and say, listen, don't bother having kids? You're grand.
No, I would. I always wanted to be a mother. I always had this in my head that I wanted to have children.
Okay.
Now, and that was just me. I just always felt and I didn't know if it would ever happen. It wasn't like I was, planning ahead. But I just thought if I was to have, I didn't mind. It never struck me as something I would ever decide not to do.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand.
Does that make sense? Like, I mean,
No, it does.
there was times I swear I wanted to run away when I was, having, the teenage years. I wanted to get myself adopted somewhere. But I mean, we got through it. Grand, we survived.
Yeah.
And you do. And you have the door slam on the 10 towels on the floor, the lovely clothes that you've ironed, fired into a corner on top of the dirty clothes. You live through all that. The girls gone off and, you're asking
And the
them how they
anger
were,
and the cheek and everything else.
Yeah. I hate you. You're up. And now they telling you how, thanks for putting up with me, because they now have teenagers themselves and they're going, oh my God, how did you
The best line, and I'd say Fern is going through this with her teenage daughter, right? The best line is, well, I hate you. You're ruining my life.
Yeah.
PTSD.
I did ask them that they have the number for Tusla. I said, kids, do you need the number for Tusla? Your parents being a bit hard.
Oh, I've done that. When my daughter's going off on one, I've handed her my phone and say, go on, ring Childline. It's okay, so ring Childline.
That was like a threat.
Yeah.
It was a threat from your kids years ago. I remember that when Childline came along first. It was like a threat from kids to their parents. If you don't leave me alone, if you keep giving out to me, I'm going to ring Childline.
Please, bring them. I can't wait.
Yeah, maybe they might take you.
Take me. I just want to escape.
My father used to say to myself and my brother, there was a school, I since know, of course, now as an adult, all the horrible stories about our town boys' school and the abuse that went on there. But in those days, it just goes to show you it had a reputation for being a really dangerous school for children to be in, right? But my father used to always say to myself and my brother, when we were bold, that's it, I'm bringing you two to our town boys' school in the morning. And we'd be shitting ourselves. We'd be like, what the hell? What is this, our town boys' school? It must be really bad.
Oh, must be torture.
So then I feel really bad now because my brother, who died when he was 24, I feel really bad because I kind of bullied him. Because we'd be lying in bed and he was 4 years younger than me. I was about 14, right? And we'd be lying in bed. We slept in the same room, And I'd say, Arthur, are you still awake? And he'd go, yeah. And I'd say, sorry about tomorrow. And he'd go, what's happening tomorrow? And I said, well, the bus is coming, isn't it, in the morning? And he goes, what bus? And I said, did Dad not tell you? No, well, tell me what. The bus is coming to bring you our town boys' school. And he'd be crying. He'd be crying his eyes out. And I swear, I feel so bad now about it because he died when he was 24, and I feel so guilty that I made his life miserable. Sorry, Arthur.
But you know what? That's what we did. It's okay. We all did something cruel and we were happy, proud of, but we did it to protect yourself.
Yeah, it was so funny at the time. But what I know now about our town boys' school, of course, we've talked about our town boys in a very serious light very recently in relation to abuse and sexual abuse of children. So it just goes to show you, at the time, even parents knew what was going on in that school, but nobody did that about it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but. Yeah, like there is, the rumours you heard when you were a child, and they all talk behind the curtain, behind the closed doors. There was something not right with that place,
Yeah.
They were actually telling the truth because there was no internet, there was no way of checking.
Yeah.
And if somebody worked in there and saw something untoward happen, they might happen to say to their sister or brother. All of a sudden, it all went out.
Yeah, it didn't go viral. See, nowadays it'll go viral.
No.
That's the difference. Yeah. Getting back to kids anyway. So, Bernie, I don't know whether you're a religious person or not, but you're not, are you really? No. But the Pope says you have opportunities of love and godliness if you raise a child and not have a dog instead, And he also said that it was selfish. He said that couples who are childless ultimately bring married couples nothing but the bitterness and loneliness in life.
Oh.
That's what he said.
Can you run that by me?
Look.
I'll run it by again. Pope Francis came out to say that childlessness will ultimately bring married couples nothing but bitterness and loneliness.
For goodnse sake. Can I just add a point to that?
Yeah.
Is he considering the amount of people who have had trouble conceiving, or the people who have had multiple child loss?
I would like to think he's talking about. No, I would like to think he's talking about, but not obviously people who.
Well, obviously, but then
conceive.
people can make a presumption. Oh, why haven't they had any kids yet? Oh, surely you think they'd be pregnant by now and all this, and you don't know what's going on
but
behind
that's your
closed
purpose.
doors.
None of us know their story.
Both
Nobody
of you,
knows.
from a religious point of view, your purpose in life is to procreate and reproduce. That's your purpose, ladies.
Yeah.
You're an incubator for babies.
And you're,
you're the sperm donor then. You're a sperm donor, so you should be donating as well. Like,
I did.
Come on.
I've donated enough. I'm looking for a withdrawal now.
Oh my
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we don't know anybody's story. You talk to somebody, you do not know what's going on in the background. You
No.
have to respect everyone's wishes, their thoughts. If they have a certain way of looking, we're all on a different road. We can't just live according to a certain person's ideas about something because we don't know.
Yeah, but if we all decided, if every woman, and primarily it is, I know it can be a couple's decision, but it's ultimately a woman's decision. She's the one who bears the child. But if every woman decided on this tomorrow, that'll be the end of mankind. Men are not going to have babies, well, we can't physically, and even if we could, we wouldn't.
But then statistically, I don't think every woman would. There's people like...
Although they are having, sorry for interrupting, men are having babies now, I believe.
Are they?
Yeah.
How the hell are they having that?
Is it trans men? Or I'm afraid I'm clueless with all this.
I believe in India, I think it's India, they did the first womb transplant from a woman into a man. Yep.
Why did that hurt?
What? Talk about messing.
That
believe
really
it
hurt
fits in.
me.
Yeah, they did. They transferred a womb into a man.
But I mean, what do they do with his bitsy bobs?
Well, he was.
What about his bone structure? I'm sorry, but I mean, if he's
His hips.
carrying a woman's bone structure expands, you have the hormone relaxin that helps all the ligaments expand in order to carry the baby.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
I don't know.
Where do they get it?
Why are you asking me these questions? I just know it happened. I don't know all the answers.
Oh, my mind is a little bit blown.
I just hope it doesn't become.
What to do with his hairy chest?
I just hope it doesn't become his hairy breasts. I just hope it doesn't become common practice. Because I can tell you now, that's the end of mankind. Because men are not going to have babies. We're just not.
Oh hell no!
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
I would no.
It's like sticking a baseball up your nose.
I can't see them.
You know what I mean?
No. Jesus, having both of my kids, my husband was passing out, and the nurses were looking after him.
Well, it's not a spectator sport, in fairness, is it? You know what I mean?
Well, we don't know because we're at the top end. You're at the bottom end. We don't.
It's not. It's not fun to participate in either. I'll tell you that much.
No, we weren't having fun up the top, going, "Yeah, this is brilliant. Keep looking."
Well done, ladies. Well done for keeping the population going. I really appreciate it. For the rest of mankind, we thank you.
Thanks for donation. Thanks for your donation.
You're listening to Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
With Recruit.ie. Download our job search app today. Search for Recruit.ie in your smartphone app store.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
Marion, you're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. Hey, Marion.
Yeah, hi Niall. How are you?
How are you doing, Marion? How's things?
Not too bad. Like, you sound as if you're in a tin box.
I know. A couple of people said I'll have to sort that out later on. Anyway, Marion.
No, I'll just tell you now, back in 1978, right?
Yeah.
Before I got married, I was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
And when I went, you had to go to the local canon and all this to make sure your papers and that you were baptised and all of that. So during doing that, I happened to say to him, "Oh, look, I don't intend to maybe have children. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to get married, but I don't, because there was an outside problem in my family."
That's
and
right.
I wasn't,
And you thought it might be
You know what I
hereditary.
mean?
Yes, of course, yeah.
I was, I had got counselling about it and all that. And the minute I said to him that, he says, "Well, you won't be getting married and I won't allow you to be married." And I said, "What are you saying?" So he said that he would officiate with the priest that was going to marry me. And I thought nothing about it. And I said, "All right, so show me where it states that I have to have children." I said, "Yeah, I'd like to, but I may not want to have them and all of this." And he stated, "Well, I won't allow you to be married." So he did turn up, Niall, and I felt really pressurised.
Isn't there a whole thing within the Catholic Church that the marriage must be consummated for it to be official?
But I just felt so pressurised, him standing there beside the priest.
Oh, I can imagine.
And he stated that you have to repeat these words. You need to go forth and multiply, and whatever children God sends you. Like, God sent my mother 10 children, and I wasn't intending and have 10.
But you did multiply, Marion. You did multiply.
Oh, well, by 2, just, But it was just terrible, to have this pressure that a canon would turn up to make sure, or else he was going to stop the wedding. He said that I won't allow you wouldn't be officially married.
What was
I
it
should've just-
years ago when a woman didn't have children years ago? Was it, what was she called? It was an old maid or something like that, wasn't it? Or what
Yeah,
was
an
it?
old maid or a spinster. But
Yeah.
nowadays, now, like, I understand where that girl is coming from. And the mother shouldn't be pressurising her saying, oh, well, I want grandchildren. Is she going to mind the grandchildren? So if the woman has to go out to work or anything like that.
I'm sure she isn't.
You know, that's just selfish of the mother to be pressurising her. Like, there are people that just, you know...
Just don't want
you know,
kids.
decide. They decide, and if the person that they're getting married or if they want to remain single, well, that is their choice. We live in, you know, we're in, you know, 2023 now, and things are far
Different
from
worlds.
what they can.
Yeah. Okay, well, stay there, Marion. Well, stay there, Marion. Hang on, let me go to Tanya as well. Tanya, you're in Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How you doing, Tanya?
Hi, Niall.
Hi,
Can you hear me perfect?
Okay, you're a young mother.
No, I'm actually 41.
But that's young enough, isn't it?
Well, I wish I was 20 years younger, but, you know.
Okay.
My daughter has just turned 20 last week, and my son has just turned 16 last month.
Okay.
I'm 41, and my partner is 37.
Look
going
at you!
on
Look at
28
you! Look
soon.
at you at the young partner, huh?
I know. It's always been men that's been a couple of... Well, I've only dated 4 guys in my life, and
Okay.
they've all been younger. But yeah, he wants children. Like, he
Okay.
really wants children.
Okay.
And like my daughter, I feel like I've been there. I've done it. You know.
Yeah,
my
bought the
daughter's
T-shirt.
20.
Yeah.
You know, I got her off to college. My son, I'm hoping that he will go on to be a paleontologist and archaeologist in Canada.
Well done.
But
Yeah. You must
you
be
know,
very proud of them.
Well, yeah. If like for he the guy that I'm with is not the biological father of my children.
Okay.
And
And does he have
So,
any?
yeah.
Does he have any children of his own from a previous relationship? No.
no,
No.
he spent his 20s fighting cancer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, relationship and, you know, thinking of children wasn't
Wasn't on the
really
cards, yeah.
Our relationship. After the cancer, he thought he'd probably never meet a girl again because he had pretty bad cancer. He never thought he'd
He'd
find
survive it. Yeah.
love
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And yes, so anyway, we met going on 9 years ago, and he basically, you know, he definitely wants children. We've a big 3-story house with, and it just so happens the house that we did buy, the middle room is yellow with like a.
It's all set up for a baby. Is that what you're saying?
It must have been, yes.
But
it must have
you've
been an
decided,
nursery.
but you yourself decided, well, I know you're 41, so the clock is ticking away. And apart from anything else, as you well know, you don't, I'm not a doctor, and you don't need me to be a doctor to tell you that there's a risk.
Yeah.
The higher, the older you get, the risk is higher, and in having a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
And it's also more difficult to conceive as well when you get older too. So, but in saying that, if you've decided not to have a child, I don't see where the issue is between the two of you, because ultimately the two of you
No.
must agree.
I have said to him, you know, I have just turned 41, and
Want to enjoy life?
I've enjoyed life. I've been there. I've done that. I enjoyed my 20s. I had my daughter when I was going on 23. I had my son when I was 27. And yeah, I reared them and I gave them the best life possible. I put my daughter through college by myself.
Well done.
With no help from anybody, just myself. I put her through college, and she'll be going into her second year now. And just the thought of...
Well, you've answered your own question here tonight in some sense, Tanya, and I don't mean to interfere in your relationship, but you've already told me, I get a sense from you. I've been there, I've done that, I'm now ready for the world, I'm an awakened woman, I'm going to have a good time, have a few holidays maybe. Kids can look after themselves now, they're all grown up.
Yeah, like now
it's
I
time to look
start-
after me. Yeah.
Now that they're older, like I've been to to Africa, to America.
Absolutely.
You know,
Enjoy yourself.
they're hungry. You know,
And don't get me wrong, I'm not having a pop at your husband or your partner, should I say. I'm not having a pop at your partner. But I mean, if you decide that that's not what you want, and he decides that's what we want, well, then it's no good because you both have to agree, and there has to be compromise.
We have
you know.
hope. And just day before Christmas, well, last summer, I developed what could possibly in the next coming months or weeks. I possibly might need a pacemaker.
Oh
which,
God!
Is in the family on my mum's side.
Oh, I hope you're okay.
Now they're hoping, please God, a tablet will be able to sort me that I won't have to go down that road.
Okay.
But
I hope so.
I don't know what way my health will be. So
okay.
to even think of children would be the last thing on my mind right now. My health would be more. But we have decided if I can't give him a child, he still wants me. He doesn't want to lose me.
Well, now it's a deeper conversation. If I was your friend and not a radio talk show host, and I'm not having a go at your partner, I'm certainly not. I'm sure he's a wonderful person too, and he has his needs and his wants as well. But I would go with your gut. And Tanya, I'm listening to you, and I know exactly how you feel. I'm in the situation myself. All my kids are over the age of 20 now. I would never want to go back to having a baby again. Don't get me wrong. It was great when it happened.
Oh, no, I know.
But I would never.
I've been all my life, nearly.
Yeah. So I just wouldn't want to go back down that road again. I mean, and, your whole life is ahead of you.
I'm very happy with the woman you're with. And, yes, you both seem very happy. So
love her to bits. She's the most amazing woman in the world.
Yeah, you do. You seem very happy with the lady that you've met. And I'm
Karen.
really happy for
Karen
her.
is my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an
And when you
amazing
talk
person.
about her, it sounds like you absolutely adore her.
I do. I idolize her. I adore her. I love her. She's amazing. But by the way, we agree on most things, but we do disagree on some things. But we agree on most things. But with relationships and love is all about compromise. And I know it's sad that your partner never got the opportunity to have children, but he's with you now. And, I don't think you're in a position now to have children. You may not be biologically in a position to have them. But either way, you've made a decision, conscious or unconscious. And to me, I can hear that decision in your head. You want to just move on with your life now and enjoy the rest of your life. You've done your bit. And I respect that, and he should respect that too.
Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.